What's going on, everybody? Welcome in for another video. This is EndFaze Gaming. I'm Brandon. Today I wanted to go through the rules update that was released a few weeks ago on sorcerytcg.com. I know over the past few weeks we've been kind of clamoring about the new deck sizes, but I haven't seen too many videos touch base on all of the rules updates. There's a few new mechanics and a few specifications that were made that I think are really cool to go over. Before I dive into the rules update, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that's been engaging with my content. I know I'm a newer channel, but I'm just blown away by all of the positive interaction and all the other people reaching out saying, hey, I started a channel, check mine out as well, which I love doing. I wanted to try and do something kind of crazy. If somehow I can storm up to 100 subscribers, which is a hard ask, but it should have a payoff. I'm going to break my promise and open up another beta box. I really don't want to, but I do like opening them for the channel, and it seems like a lot of people like it based on the views. I'm going to be opening a pretty good amount of Arthurian Legends on the channel, but I know everybody likes watching what they know as well with the beta boxes, and I know that my beta boxes, I know one of them has a water castle in it, so they're kind of burning a hole in my pocket. Just thanks for tuning in once again. Remember at the end to drop a comment, like, and subscribe, and let's get into the rules update. So right here in the beginning, it goes right into the new deck sizes. But I did want to touch base here at the top how they're very excited to get Arthurian Legends to your kitchen tables. I know that this game is very player driven on the competitive side, and they wanted it to be that way. But I think that it being a very casual based game at its core is what lends itself to so many different people. I think the gameplay, the entire nature of the game just is awesome. And I know it appeals to so many different people with, one set a year, movement-based interactions, stuff like that I've went over in other videos, and I know other content creators have touched on as well. But I think that's a thing that you don't ever want to lose sight of that. And that's what goes along with the deck increase. So the original intent was for it to always end up as a 60-card spellbook and 40-card atlas. With Arthurian Legends, since the card pool grew large enough, they're going to do it slightly increased for now at 50 spellbook and 30 atlas. And then eventually, once the card pool is big enough, they're going to go to 60-40. Now, I've stated my opinion a few times on the deck sizes of what they're going to do here. I think the game is going to be just fine at 50-30. I think the consistency will be fine. People will find new ways to do cool things at 50 cards. Just the things that we've seen players do with 40 cards has been crazy. And just I don't want to go too long into it because I've touched base on it a few times, but I think it's going to be fine. Now, that being said, I do think the perfect number is 50-25. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to go backwards. I think it's going to be 50-30, and then eventually they'll go to 60-40. So we move on down here to multi-element cards. Nothing really new here for seasoned players. It's just the introduction of multi-element minions. Sir Peleus, he cost 1 air and 2 water threshold in addition to 3 mana. And they're just making sure that you kind of know that you need those threshold out in order to play him. That's a given, like I said, to seasoned players. But we've all accidentally cast something, that costs 2 air threshold. You only have 1 out. You're like, oops, my bad. Throw it back in your hand. So just something to keep an eye on, in your games and your matches, to where, if somebody is playing a multi-element spell Like this needs 2 water and 1 air. Just make sure they got it out there, and then if they don't, just say, hey, you're missing a water. Here it goes into Philosopher's Stone as well, because there was a little bit of debate on how Philosopher's Stone was going to be handled. So if you were to cast Serpelius and you're going to use your Philosopher's Stone discount on Serpelius would actually take up your air and water first spell for your turn. So you're not going to get any further discounts on an air spell or a water spell that turn, but you can get discounted on a fire spell or an earth spell. It's kind of what we thought was going to happen. Some other players thought things were going to go differently, but I think that's how it should be, and that's how they specified it. Another new thing in this set is split power stats. It's pretty self-explanatory with the cool art there behind with the sword and the shield. But they now have a split power. They have an offensive stat or attack power and a defensive one. When a minion strikes, use its attack power. When damage is being allocated to them, refer to its defense power. The minions from beta and alpha, if they have 1 power value, they're considered to have the same value in both situations. Any card that modifies a unit's power affects both attack and defense. So for example, overpower will increase both attack and defense power by 2. Stronger and weaker minions. Certain game effects may require you to compare units to determine which is the strongest or weakest. When comparing a minion with split power, add its attack and defense power to get values together and divide them by 2 to find its overall power. Pretty self-explanatory there. Lance is a very cool mechanic that they could have went the cheap route and just made it first strike, but they once again, went above and beyond and carried on with their kitchen table philosophy, and they made it a cool artifact. In order to get its effect, a card that has the keyword Lance enters play carrying a Lance artifact token. They can use it for themselves or give it to another minion, such as in the case of the Dutiful Squires that you will encounter throughout Arthurian Legends. So they can lend their Lance to an Autumn Unicorn, which is crazy. Lance tokens function as artifacts in all respects. They can be picked up, dropped, and stolen just like any other artifact. When destroyed, they're removed from the realm just like other tokens. For striking first, that goes along with the Lance. Some units that strike first, such as those equipped with the Lance, land their blows before the enemy can respond. Units that strike first resolve their strikes before their target can resolve theirs. Unless stated otherwise, striking first is mandatory and must be executed by the minion if able. If you're fighting against an opposing Lance, or if you have 2 Lances fighting each other. If multiple units in the same fight have the ability to strike first, they all strike simultaneously. Afterward, any surviving units without that ability make their strikes. And then there's links to the new rules and then the rule book. And you can connect with the Sorcery community online there. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory for most of these things. I'm super excited for the Lance effect. I think it's going to be super strong. But here at the end of the video, I did have some Arthurian Legends predictions. I think I got 6 bullet points here. To start off with what avatars that are currently in the game that are going to do better or worse. I think Death Speaker and Elementalist are going to go up. Stock value is going to go up on those. Death Speaker is going to get more Genesis effects. The deck size gets higher for Death Speaker. He's going to be good. Elementalist is going to thrive because threshold with Elementalist. With all these new multi-threshold spells and these big knights that need these multiple thresholds, Elementalist starting with one of all 4 is just going to be so strong. Geomancer, I think, is just going to kind of stay where it is with the ramp that comes along with Geomancer. I just think he's going to kind of stay where he's at. He might drop in stock a little bit, but I think Geomancer stays decent. The two that I think are going to struggle are Pathfinder and Enchantress. Pathfinder, the deck size hurts it quite a bit, I think, with the 30 sites and it needing only be able to have, you know, single copies of the sites is wild. Enchantress, I'm only going to say Enchantress because Enchantress struggled quite a bit there near the end of the beta tourney scene. And we haven't seen anything that really helps Enchantress right now. I think Enchantress is in a rough spot. As far as what to expect out of a booster box of Arthurian Legends, we all know that it goes down to 24 packs now, down from 36, and 36 in beta, 39 in alpha. I think that you're going to be able to get 6 uniques and 6 foils in a box. If I'm wrong and it's more than that, I'm super okay with that. But I think 6 and 6, 25% of a box for hits, quote unquote. I think that's pretty fair. If it's lower, I'd be a little skeptical on that, but 6 and 6 sounds good to me. I don't think Just a Rock is going to ruin the game. I think that I'm going to scroll down here a little bit in case anybody wants to read along while I'm rambling. I think that Just a Rock is not gonna ruin the game. I think everything's gonna be fine. I had a video on that. I know everybody's discussed Just a Rock. I think everything's gonna be just fine. I think the chase cards out of the set, it's got to be King Arthur and Holy Grail. It's just whether or not they're gonna do something super crazy with them. Like, is there gonna be a curio version of these? Is there going to be an alt art? Are they going to be like super crazy, you know, crazy foil type deal? Is it going to be serialized? Who knows? Touching on it one more time, I think gameplay is going to thrive at 50 and 30. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say once they see how well things are going at 50-30, they're going to possibly reconsider the 60-40 move. I think 80 cards total, 50 spells and 30 sites, that's a lot. That's more than any other card game other than Magic, Commander that I know of. There might be other games, but you know, outside of that, I think 50 sites or 50 spells and 30 sites, pretty cool. Could be better at 25 sites. I mentioned that earlier. But 50-30, I think they might see that it's perfect. And then this is the one that I'm the least... I'm like 50-50 on whether this will happen. I think the box topper is not going to be an avatar. Whether or not they make it maybe like an alt art of something that we've seen already, or something completely new that's just going to be in the box topper. I don't think it's going to be an avatar. At least that's what I'm hoping. So yeah, just another quick video for you guys here. Hope you guys learned something with the rules update, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Take care.